Sup guys, welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk
and listen to motorcycles.
All right, take two.
Hey guys, welcome back. All right.
Gleeboot.
Hey guys, welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and watch Glee and discuss how we would reboot it. We're talking about the show that really invented being gay. That's what Glee is known for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Shakespeare invented being gay.
Inside joke.
Yeah, so today we're gonna switch things up. We're just gonna talk about one episode because there is a lot to unpack here. We're watching The Power of Madonna, the first single artist tribute episode in Glee. And I'm drinking a mason jar full of red wine.
Cullen walked in and I was like, is that wine? It literally looks like he just poured a bunch of grape juice in a mason jar.
I have no shame.
I'm just drinking beer. I'm being basic.
I am drinking a G&T, but as I would like to call it, a Glee-and-T, in which there's also sexism mixed in.
Yes.
It hurts.
I was in a car yesterday. Fun fact. And we were
wow.
singing.
Do you do that often, or is it your first time?
Yeah, first time experiencing a motorized
car
vehicle.
virginity taken yesterday.
My carginity, like a cargin.
Wow, snaps for you. Great.
And we were singing along, and they put on Usher's Confessions Part 2, and I'm like, they're like, do you know this song? I'm like, the only parts of this song I know are the ones that are in the Glee Confession / It's My Life mashup. So I could like sing along to part of it and then be like, now I don't know the words.
Or you could sing the second part of the song. You could sing the
It's My Life.
Yeah, along with it. Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I sing 1,000 Miles, I sometimes do the harmonies that they do in the Glee version.
I actually don't remember that one. So interesting. I can't wait for you to get into a car for a second time, and I want you to record yourself doing that.
I'm gonna their version of 1,000 Miles, spoilers, has something to do with Alyssa's Glee boyfriend.
What?
Okay. So
yes.
Hannah loves BuzzFeed listicles and quizzes, and every week, at least once a week, I will send them a fun quiz or listicle to read. And we did Who is Your Glee Boyfriend on BuzzFeed. I got Artie, which honestly I'm really glad. I half expected to get Puck because I'm a terrible person. Cullen, who did you get?
I got Blaine.
Of course you did. You're perfect, just like he is.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I have no reference for Blaine at all because I haven't seen, the rest of Glee. By the way, a side note, we are officially to the point of Glee where I have not seen it.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So, yes. I thought I watched the whole season. I did not.
And so you also don't have a reference for the person who you got a boyfriend.
Own boyfriend, yes. Sam Evans.
Yes. We will
have no idea who that is.
Next season, right, Cullen?
Next season. Next season. I love Sam Evans. He's a big humor icon for me. My YouTube persona of Ryan is basically Sam from Glee meets Josh from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Jason from The Good Place. Like all kind of mashed together.
Beautiful idiots.
Beautiful idiots, yeah. Love Sam. And so as we're on assigning each other Glee characters, I know way before we even thought of making this podcast, I was given Blaine as my character. Do you think I'd be more...
You are dating yourself.
I'm dating myself. Am I more of a Blaine or a Finn? Real talk.
I think you're probably a healthy blend because Blaine is just, Finn also has a really good heart, but I think that's one of the best things about Blaine is that he's just so caring and open-hearted.
Why would you ask me a question that I can't answer?
I'm asking him.
Wow, I feel excluded. Excluded.
Just like your Glee character, Rachel.
Wow.
How close to Finn do you think Cullen is, Alyssa? I think Cullen's way smarter.
Alyssa does not think I'm way
you guys
smarter.
are roommates. And they were roommates.
We are roommates. I think Finn is just like slightly too idiotic to be any person in real life.
Okay.
Wait till you meet Sam.
Oh boy.
Your boyfriend.
Oh boy. Cullen, you are a smart person.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I would not say that you are like, how do I put this? You're extremely book smart, but there are just some things where I'm like, how did you come to that conclusion?
Not through careful thinking, I'm sure.
Amazing.
Hannah's is Santana.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. The more I watch her, the more I'm like, am I really this person?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, who else you would be. Maybe someone we meet in season 2.
Honestly, Sam and Blaine are the only two people I remember. So, like, I could be some, like, random person that I don't remember yet. Maybe I'm Sunshine Corazon.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, we'll stop talking about next season characters.
Well, I'll see if you pick it up. I wouldn't peg you as this character, but you might be like, I relate to this character.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like this challenge.
We'll see. All right. Now getting into Hannah's favorite episode of all media, The Power of Madonna.
I just have to say, my notes, this is the most notes I've ever taken on this show, all of the 5 or 6 weeks we've done it. And 90% of them are in caps lock. And I literally didn't get to the credits until like 20 notes in. So I had a lot to say about the first 3 minutes.
I also want to point out that Hannah went as Madonna for Halloween one year.
Fuck, I forgot about that. I did. I totally did.
Fake fan. You're a fake fan of yourself.
I actually went as like a virgin Madonna. That was my my motif that I based it off of. That's so crazy. Thank you for remembering that fun fact about me.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna be totally real here, guys. Like, I don't know a lot about Madonna.
I don't really either.
I know the songs that she sings, but I don't, like, when they were going through the people are like, what do you think when you think Madonna? And everyone says a adjective or a noun that is used as an adjective. I have nothing because I don't associate anything with Madonna.
So Madonna grew up in the town that my college was in.
Oh, fun.
They had both Madonna and the town have publicly disowned each other.
Oh. Even more fun.
So she got into a fight with the town, and the town was also like, you know what? Fuck you too.
Basically, she was just like, Rochester was a terrible place. I also remember her arms scaring me during her Super Bowl performance. And there was a joke about it on 30 Rock about, like, you could age classily like Meryl Streep or cling to youth with your Madonna Gollum arms. And Jenna's character was like, I get to be like one of my icons, Madonna.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
People rag on Madonna for her aging a lot.
Which is so weird because everybody ages.
Yeah. Women aren't supposed to age.
Exactly.
Will Schuester will tell you that.
Listen, we're watching a show that pretty much hates women, so like...
Wow, yeah. Like, when I watched this episode, yeah.
This episode hates Madonna, too, I think.
It's... The funny thing about this episode is watching it, it's like... To me, the vibe I get is... Literally, all the first season was written by 3 men. I'm not just throwing, shade. I'm just stating a fact.
Yeah.
So, like, it's men being like, we're going to write an episode about feminism. And maybe, like, if you had a writer's room, like, even if I was, say, a showrunner, I'd be like, oh, we should do an episode about feminism. Let me assign that to a woman in my writer's room.
Okay, it's not even about feminism. It's okay. We're just gonna have to talk about it.
It's about how men and women interact more than, like, women independent of men.
Oh yeah, no, women are not independent of men in this episode.
Is it?
We have a lot to talk about.
Let's unpack this.
So, the episode starts with Hannah's ancestor, Sylvester, talking about how she loves Madonna, she's inspired by her, and she wants Madonna to be played on the loudspeakers throughout the entire school. And because she's blackmailing the worst principal in America, Principal Figgins, she forces his hand, so Madonna is now blaring throughout the entire school all day. I was just touched by my cat, aka touched by an angel.
Wait, hold on. Your cat?
I was say, wait. I thought you were
your
uncle.
step cat.
My step cat. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm stepdad.
You haven't fully adopted her yet. Are the papers gonna go through soon?
No, I'm on her as an emergency contact. I'm on her paperwork.
Yes.
But, like, she's not, like, Allyssa is, like, her cat mom.
Right.
I pay the bills.
She pays the bills, and Suki knows it. Like, Suki likes me, but, like, she definitely likes Allyssa more. Like, you can just tell. Like, you just know.
That's exactly how my roommate's cat is. Like, my roommate isn't here this weekend, and this cat is, like, meowing like crazy because she wants attention and she wants food. And then as soon as my roommate gets back, I may see her once this week.
Yeah, it's when Alyssa's, like, out late or something, she'll just be like, meow, like, where is she? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Like, you're stuck with me. So I'm a stepdad.
Cute. Okay, so
Yeah.
I have a question about the cold open of this episode because that's essentially what it is. It's
Yeah.
so, like, I don't remember from our previous episodes or future, but, like, is completely just, like, randomly picking an idea out of nowhere, setting up in the cold open, like, a thing for Glee? Like, is it always so sitcom-ish? Because, like, there's no reason to be talking about Madonna at all other than Sue literally being like, I love Madonna, randomly.
You know,
Suki.
Yep.
She's shaking her little bell. Yeah, I really feel like it is just random a lot of the time. Like, I'm pretty sure there's an episode where they're like, are you a Katie or are you a Gaga? At one point.
Oh, I hate
And,
that
like,
idea.
And, like, what?
Did they take, like, a
how does
BuzzFeed
that
quiz? Was that how it started?
like, how does that even come up as an idea? So I think they're just like, we're getting Madonna's music. How are we going to start this? Sue likes Madonna. Great.
Wow, that was literally almost like a recording from the writer's room that is made up of 3 men.
It was. As a 15-year-old boy, I snuck in and recorded that brief snippet.
Thank you for playing that really informative clip. Okay, so maybe I was just like, wow, this is fucking nonsense, but I guess I just have to get used to it.
I guess this might be a true crime podcast now because we're talking about the true crime that is this episode.
Oh
Nailed
boy.
it.
I didn't even hate this episode that much.
You're just
there's just a lot
bandwagoning.
to-
'Cause
Yeah.
they have both heard me being like, listen, I have a lot of notes. I screamed like 18 times. Like, you know that Vine that's like, and now back to me screaming?
Me screaming.
I am the embodiment of that Vine when watching this episode.
Yeah, I definitely cringed a lot. There are a lot of things I was like, oh.
I think I was too confused by this episode to actually be aware that it slapped me in the face.
That's how Glee wants all women to feel.
Slapped in the face. Yeah.
But confused.
And they want them to also kind of feel bad about being slapped. Like, it's kind of your fault. Anyway,
Wow.
So
I hate this episode.
I boiled it down to a few main storylines. We got white savior Will Schuester. We have Rachel and Jesse. We have Finn and Santana. Fanta is the celebrity couple name. I don't know if that's official, but I'm deciding that's what it is right now.
Wouldn't it be Fantana, or are we just doing like the last part of her name?
I think Fanta is so fun.
It's also a drink. Hopefully they don't sue us for using their name.
And then there's Mercedes, Kurt, and Sue. Which plotline would you like to discuss first? As a woman, I'm letting you pick and undoing all of sexism.
Wow.
Like Will Schuester.
You know what? I think we should probably talk about the whole male savior plot line and just get it done with.
3 hours later.
No, like this 45-minute episode took me 3 hours to watch. Like I had to pause it so many times to scream.
Will overhears a conversation between the girls, which we'll get to when we're discussing like Rachel's plotline a bit. But Tina is like, they're like, you have to put out for boys. Santana, because Rachel's wondering if she should put out for Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
And Santana's like, never say no to sex. That's what I do. And Brittany's like, what's the worst that could happen? Sorry, Quinn, who's pregnant. Just in case you forgot that plot point. And Tina is like, yeah, Artie was talking to me in the hallway. And he was saying, like, lose the goth look, wear tighter clothing. You need to work it if we're going to be an item. I hope you like your boyfriend, Hannah. And then Will overhears this and is like, are the boys sexist to you? And they're like, yeah. And Quinn, love her, is like, women still make 75 cents on the dollar for how much men make, and that attitude starts in high school. She got knocked up by Puck, so if anyone understands gross male privilege, it is Quinn Fabre. And she walks out, and Will's like, it's a time for a teaching moment. And the abyss of hell opens out of his chin dimple.
Okay. The girls are sitting there, and they're talking. But then Shu comes in. There is also a shot of him, like, looking over his shoulder, definitely listening, and then goes back to his work. One would think, as a teacher, overhearing your female students talking about sex and love stuff, then you'd be like, oh, I should probably leave, or this could be really creepy and bad. But no, he stays because he's really creepy and bad. And then when he goes to talk to them, his line, this is where I first screamed. Shu goes, sorry to interrupt your little sorority. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you dismissing these women just so that you can be like, are you crazy? These boys, they're sexist? What? I hated it.
So speaking of creepiness, a little Cullen's Corner moment. Someone asked me to volunteer at church, and in order to do so in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, you need to be fingerprinted and take education thing about preventing sexual abuse of children and any abuse.
I did not know this.
Yeah, which I'm glad that they have. Like, it's important. And so I was doing it, and they were talking about like behaviors that that are like warning signs or grooming, and like you should take efforts to stop. And one of them is like an adult being alone with children in a place where another adult couldn't just walk in, and like adults like pushing touch boundaries with children, even if it's not sexual, like slowly pushing those boundaries is like grooming. And I immediately thought of Will Schuester. Like,
oh boy,
like singing Bust a Move and like hugging Tina, like all these moments where like, that makes us feel weird. It makes us feel weird because that is actually a symptom of grooming that pedophiles use.
Well, that, and like also like as a teacher, you learn this stuff too. Like he should know better. Like, it's crazy. It's just, he's the worst teacher ever. I honestly think that Will Schuester could have been a better character if people had spent a little bit more time actually thinking of him as a teacher especially given the whole thing that like Stephen Tobolowsky's character, who was the original Glee director, he got kicked out for that kind of shit. So like
Yeah.
you would think they would spend a little bit more time thinking, be like, okay, he's also a teacher. He's not just some random guy. Or is he just a random guy? Is he still a teacher? Have we confirmed this?
Oh boy.
So next we cut into a scene where he talks with Emma, and we just have some. I just want to read some of the pamphlets that we see in Emma's office, because I just need to focus on something I like about Glee right now. In addition to Raid on the Silent Killer, which we have referenced before, Hannah, we have Breastfeeding, How Old is Too Old. I'm in Love with My Stepdad. That's me and Suki. JK, she tolerates me. Proper Wiping.
Oh.
My mom is bipolar and she won't stop yelling.
Oh.
What are these?
Why is there blood? And do I have Asperger's? I loved her pamphlets. I would kill to get to read those pamphlets. And the person I would kill would be Ryan Murphy.
You specifically have a person.
I just want to take a moment to thank the props department on Glee for making those amazing, amazing pamphlets. Just a round of applause. Well done. Honestly, thank you so much for those blessed distractions that I missed, but Cullen got. So thank you.
It's a nice distraction from the fact that Will is talking with Emma about how they need to empower these girls because the boys are putting them down, and they're going to be a girl-saving team. Is that the language they use? I'm sure Hannah made a note of this, but I cringed, so I'm sure Hannah's head exploded.
My only note is, oh yeah, of course, Shu, a cis white man, should be telling Emma how to do her job because she's inexperienced in the field of sexual stuff. And also, the whole thing with Emma is like, are there no other female teachers at this school except for her and Sue? Like, no other female staff members that Emma could like talk to.
I feel like that makes sense considering the world in which we have been written into.
Right, like she lives in a bubble. She has no friends. And like, so Shu goes to her, like in my reboot, in my Gleeboot, if I had a character like this, I would have like the guidance counselor as a woman go to like have like a staff meeting of just the female teachers and be like, listen, we have to do better with ourselves and be good role models. And like, that's how I would do it.
Oh, you wouldn't use Schuster as like the
Schuster's dead in our Gleeboot.
You don't want to use him as the cornerstone of this feminist movement at the school?
You know, as many cornerstones of feminist movements are cis white men, I think we should not.
Okay. I can see where you're going here.
Also, he basically tells Emma that the girls have a problem, and the problem is the boys, but like poses it as if like it's their fault for not being empowered. And that's where I lost my mind. 5 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, because when you're like 15, you need to be a fully realized, empowered adult.
Exactly. Oh my god.
So they're like, we're gonna make a girl saving team because they have bad role models. I believe I made a note about this. They referenced Britney Spears as a bad role model.
Interesting.
Because I wrote gross Will girl saving team, and then they're like Lindsay Lohan, and and Ann Coulter. And then Will was like, yeah, that was actually, I don't know if it was funny, or if it was like I didn't hate it. It was like a 1-star funny.
What, the Ann Coulter joke?
No, who Ann Coulter is.
That's the thing. I was like, oh, that's funny, But as a teenager, I wouldn't have thought that was funny because I didn't know who she was in, what was this, 2009?
I still don't know who she is. Is anyone gonna fill me in?
Ann Coulter is like Tommy Loren's grandmother. Not really, but like her ancestor. You're gonna say I don't know who Tommy Loren is.
I don't.
They're like blonde, very like Republican women that like tend to speak in very like aggravating language or like anger language designed to incite anger and like be like thought-provoking and like shocking.
Yeah,
They're like
she's a conservative like media person.
yeah.
She goes on different media shows and spreads her views and stuff like that. Alyssa, let me just give you one thing. Her fifth book was titled "Godless: The Church of Liberalism," so she hates left-leaning individuals.
Oh boy!
So, but that's the thing is like you would have to be like either a really that was a joke for the parents tuning in, Cullen, obviously.
Yeah, which
but like
I like that was kind of funny, and it was kind of funny that why would Emma bring up Ann Coulter? Like, I'm reaching, okay, I'm reaching for things that I liked.
That was good. I totally forgot about it was interesting. Also, the Britney reference too,
because they're gonna do a Britney episode. They're gonna do 2 Britney episodes throughout the run of this show.
A lot of single artist episodes, if I remember correctly.
But Madonna is the first. She's the mother of them all.
She's the Madonna of them all.
She's the Madonna. So after this scene where Will's like, I'm going to invent feminism, and we're like, oh my God, thank you. He does this because he watches Sue's Cheerios performing to a Madonna song. And he's like, oh, this is cool. We're going to do Madonna in the Glee Club. And he's like, what do you think of when you think of Madonna? And like Kurt's like,
hold on,
he doesn't say this, but okay,
yeah,
stop me whenever you want to just dissect
number.
Something.
Okay, Cheerios, awesome. We can talk about them later. But the fact that Shu gets his idea from Sue, he uses a woman's idea to create his feminist movement. Like, you know what? Now that I think about it, although I don't want to give Ryan Murphy more credit than he deserves, but like, what if he's actually making commentary, but it's just like not landing?
That's probably more credit than he deserves.
Okay, I wanted to give that preface. But yeah, that's definitely a reading. It would be incorrect, but it's a reading nonetheless.
Like, I'm a big Glee fan. I'll go to bat for Glee for many things, but I won't pretend that this was subversive in some.
Okay, cool. I wasn't just like.
I mean, just comparing it to the rest of the show, I think Glee is pretty on the nose.
True. Very well said. I would agree with that.
Yeah, so they're all like, Kurt is like, she's iconic. They love her, whatever. And then Puck is like MILF, and there's this great shot. It doesn't linger too long.
I hated that line.
I hated the line, but there's this
whole conversation.
I just want to thank the cinematographer for a moment because of this shot. It's like not even a full shot. It just quickly pans over to Quinn just being like, ugh. And like it moves on. And it's just like the funniest little joke where she's like, fuck, I'm having a baby with this man. Like, poor Quinn.
That was Shu's first chance to correct the boys, and so instead he just like keeps going with his fucking speech about like getting people to talk about Madonna, and he just lets this 17-year-old kid talk really disgustingly about a woman.
Yep.
And then the boys don't want to do Madonna because she's too girly. But I'm like, you all sang a Kelly Clarkson number, so like, where's this coming from?
I did not understand that whole. Like, I was like, then why are they even singing in the first place if they're not gonna actually sing it? Like, full total rejection of womanhood.
Well, like,
assholes.
I'm trying to think, like, when he said, was this when he said that Madonna wasn't like show choir?
No, I think he was just like, she's too girly.
We kind of skipped ahead a little bit, I think.
This is all the one scene.
Yeah, but right before the girls go into their number, he says like, I don't think it's show choir, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I remember that.
my literal, like, I paused it, furiously wrote this note, and was like, oh, and Carrie Underwood is show choir? I don't even know his last name is show choir? I don't think so.
I have a question for both of you. I've had this question for a while. So Rachel is like, oh, I'm so down for this. And her and all the girls sing Express Yourself, a song that was also sung at the end of the movie Isn't It Romantic, starring Rebel Wilson. And the first line is, come on, girls, do you believe in love, right? Is that it? Yeah. I just want to say, ask you two as women, which line in a song speaks to you more? I think I know Alyssa's answer. Is it Madonna's, like, come on, girls, do you believe in love at the beginning of Express Yourself? Or Shania Twain's, like, let's go, girls at the beginning of, like, damn, I feel like a woman?
Okay, so my answer is going to be Shania, but I honestly think it's just perchance of me being born in the 90s and not really growing up with Madonna. So also, like, I don't know if that line from Express Yourself has an amazing vine, so obviously it's going to be Let's Go Girls.
I am not super familiar with either of these songs.
I was right.
That was what you thought?
I'm like, Alyssa's gonna be like, neither.
Yeah, I can't really claim any connection to either of those lines, like, at all.
Amazing.
If I have to choose just from the actual words themselves, I'm gonna go with Let's Go Girls.
Yeah, nothing about love in that one. It's very neutral. Yeah. It's more empowering.
Yeah.
I love Shania Twain. Like, my mom always listened to Shania Twain when she was cleaning the house. And I love that song and the one where she's like, that don't impress me much. Which would be a really fun Glee cover. Like, watching Rachel, like, walk around, like, dissing all the guys. Like, you don't impress me much, Puck. And we'd be like, yeah, you don't. It'd be great.
They didn't do any Shania, did they?
They didn't. And I love Shania.
That needs to be in the Gleeboot.
That is in the Gleeboot.
She's going to be our first woman, like, single artist episode.
Are you sure she's show choir enough?
Based on Glee's very fluid definition of what is and is not show choir, she's 1,000% show choir. Also, we're just fucking river dancing. Like, she is show choir. Shania is show choir.
So they sing Express Yourself, and Kurt is all very into it, and we're going to discuss their depiction of Kurt and how he fits into a gender dynamic later, which, that's fun. And, like, all the boys are, like, just, like, suddenly, like, we don't like this. It's just peak, like, we need all the boys to be characterized a certain way for this episode. Like, that's what it says, because, like, Finn at least is, like, claps confusedly, but, like, why are the boys suddenly all like, we don't like girl stuff, when, like, it just doesn't, like, they liked their Halo mashup. Like, it just seems weird for them to suddenly be like, oh, Madonna.
It is the sitcom setup where there is no characters before or after this episode. They just exist in this one world of the power of Madonna, and then they go back to doing whatever.
Yeah, basically. So they sing the song. Things go on. Will has a showdown with Sue, which we'll discuss later. That's going to be part of our Sue plot that we discuss. Yeah. Sue walks in on Emma, and Emma's like, how come Madonna is playing everywhere in the school except my office? And Sue's all like, because you don't deserve the power of Madonna, because you don't have her, like, sexual autonomy, because if you haven't had sex as a woman, you are worthless. Thanks, Glee.
Yeah. I don't remember so much about Sue, but, like, she was obviously very unlucky in love previously, obviously with that guy from the TV station. Yeah, there's, like, a weird connection that Sue's making with the sex that I'm like, I don't know. This could be my own, like, self-sexism, being like, I don't see Sue as a very, like, sexually aggressive person or sexually assertive person, because I just can't picture that part of her.
Well, see, that's interesting because I see her as aggressive and assertive in every way,
even sex, like
including sexually. but I don't think that that's ever been brought up, like, ever. And probably part of the reason, except for when she had that, the little tryst with the guy.
Yeah.
What's his name
Rod,
again?
I think.
Yeah.
I always called him Scooter Braun. The guy who owns Taylor Swift's music.
Wow. Okay. Was it Dick?
I think it was Rod.
No, it was Rod.
It was Rod?
Another phallic object.
Gotcha. Not quite as
on the
nose as Dick, but Rod, like, her aggressiveness with Rod, I think, is part of the reason why she failed in that relationship. Also because he was a dick.
I don't know if she was really aggressive. I think, like,
she was very schoolgirl.
Yeah, she reminded me a lot of Emma.
Weird.
I think that's why, like, I was really confused because I think.
No, I guess I mean maybe not aggressiveness sexually, but like just her personality was so aggressive. Like with her wearing the zoot suit, maybe it's not even aggressive. That's not the word I'm going for.
She just went all in too soon?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
It was also a really dominant. Is that the word you're looking for? Like dominant?
Yeah,
okay,
yes, exactly.
Suit,
yes, like, that's perfect.
Okay, no, I can see that then.
We should make a Twitter poll for our fans. We should start doing this. And our first question is Sue a top or a bottom?
Oh my god.
I don't know. I think part of what I see in Sue, and like I actually thought she was kind of interesting in this episode, is that like I think she's kind of jealous of Emma because she does have this sort of like softness that Sue doesn't have. And I think there's maybe something to that.
Oh my gosh, this is just like Snow White, the story that describes women the most. I wish you could see Alyssa's face right now.
I have no words.
So Emma is definitely like, you don't get the power of Madonna because you're weak. And I guess there is definitely like a sexual connotation there because Madonna and basically everything that's going on with the Madonna songs in this episode is really about like sexual power.
I have a question. Do you think Joan of Arc is an empowered person?
You know way more about Joan of Arc than either of us.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
But just like with your vague like you know who Joan of Arc is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think she was a relatively empowered person?
I mean, I guess from what I know.
She fought in an army as a woman in the Middle Ages. Yeah.
Sure.
She was not super sexual and she could be empowered. Like for some people, their sexuality is part of their empowerment. And for some people, it isn't. That's the point I'm trying to, it's like to be like, in order to be a woman and to be empowered, like you need to have this like.
But maybe she was super sexual and the only reason that she isn't is because she's a saint.
That could be true. But like, I think the point still stands that like, you don't have to be like, you're being in control of your sexual autonomy. It doesn't just mean now I'm super like dominant in the bedroom. It could mean, oh, I choose to not have sex and that's me having control over my own autonomy. Or I choose to have sex with a lot of people and that's me being in control of my own autonomy. By implying that Emma, who isn't comfortable with sex, is therefore weak and like not empowered, maybe Emma's asexual, or that's not what the show goes with. But like, you know, like there could be many reasons Emma could not want to have sex. And that doesn't mean she's a weak person or less of an empowered woman.
I see what
I
you're
think
saying.
It's the context of how they're using Madonna and also like the context of like Madonna in general. Has that sexual prowess and power for her that like that's the connection you end up making. It's because like obviously I don't think did Emma say anything about like not having had sex when she was talking with Sue? Or is it just
I don't think so.
So it's just like Sue just makes a rash
assumption.
Yeah, or an assumption. But yeah, obviously like that's all interconnected.
Yeah, I just think that typifies like I think like capitalist American pop culture like does it like they're just like empowerment is sexy. Like they just don't quite like think it through philosophically. They just like they want to sell sex and empowerment at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to sell empowerment without having a visual of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not defending ad agencies or like capitalism or anything or, you know, like this idea. But I think that's where it comes from, is like they needed to sell a physical version of this, and like sex and empowerment was the closest thing at the time.
Yeah, and like, so it's not to like disparage Madonna for like what she did to empower women. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really associate like Madonna with like now women are empowered because of Madonna, but I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't born.
I agree, because like I feel like there are probably other people that are more like contemporary to Glee that might have been better for like the audience's actual understanding of like how they've been told what empowerment is. I can't even think of somebody, but I'm sure there's got to be someone else.
I think it's an interesting thing. Glee is so pop culture, and that's part of why I love it, and it's part of why I sometimes hate it, in that it really can't quite grasp. They're like, oh, well, Madonna's empowering, so that's what empowering is. It has trouble juggling that, like, well, Madonna's a form of being empowered, and there's other forms of being empowered.
Yeah. Are we gonna talk then about what Emma's next step is?
Yeah, that was me leading into her next step. Do you want to discuss this, Hannah? I need to take the last sip of my wine that I've already emptied.
So the next step Emma has is to go and find Will in the middle of what is definitely not a Northwest Ohio campus, because they are outdoors on that stairwell. She literally makes a date for them to have sex while there are children walking past them. These are two professional educators making a date to fuck for the first time, and they don't think at all about it being inappropriate. And it's great. I'm so glad I saw it.
I'm telling you, every scene happens in the school.
Every scene happens in the school.
Every important discussion.
And in a bubble. Like there's like a bubble that, like the cone of silence
Yeah.
goes around them, and then like everyone's just like walking around it. It's fucking bananas.
I'm not to defend Glee too much, but I will say that like budgeting, they really like they're paying a lot for those songs, so like they can't create a whole separate.
They couldn't have written this scene in a different classroom that they already own at a time when there aren't kids walking around.
No, yeah, I will agree with that. I just think like every scene's gonna take place at the school because they only have so many sets.
That's totally fine. Again, like Alyssa said, literally any other place would have done.
Yep.
A private room. We could have pulled him into the girls' bathroom, or into the teacher's lounge, or even if there were other people in the teacher's lounge, it still would have been better.
A girl's bathroom is the last place I want William Schuster.
Okay, that was...
as soon as you said that, I was like, that's kind of problematic.
That one would not work. Also, well, it would get him fired, and then the show would be infinitely better. So
perfect.
Yeah, I hated that scene so much. I think it was the second time I screamed.
So Emma is like, we're gonna have sex now, and
right now in front of these children on these
in front of these children. And later on, we're gonna get to the Like a Virgin medley and the results of that. Should we? Well, we're just gonna get to the results. So Emma, when they're singing Like a Virgin, we see Emma come to Will's apartment in her nightgown. They like do some foreplay singing, but then it cuts. She's back in the nightgown, and then he's like, I was texting you all weekend, you never showed. And she's like, I wasn't ready, which I would never be ready to have sex with Will Schuster. So like,
wait,
relatable.
Hold on. She definitely showed. She just bolted.
Yeah.
I thought the way it was shot that she never even showed.
No. She was there. She just fucking left. No. So, she left her shoes behind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she left. And she's like, oh my gosh, can you return those? Those are my favorite shoes. And I kind of liked that joke.
Yeah, no. Also, just like a quick fashion recap. Hate the nightgowns in that whole sequence. Maybe with the exception of Santana, which we can get to. But literally, she looked like an old maid. Like, she looked like she was 75 years old.
If you're past 17, according to Glee, and you haven't had sex, you're an old maid. Emma is wilted fruit.
Wow.
And honestly, though, if I had to see Will Schuster's nipples, I would leave and move to a different state. So, like, relatable, Emma. Relatable content.
Like, I definitely think it was very on character for her to wear something like that, but also I'm like, ugh, it's terrible.
Rachel's, though, I don't think Rachel's was on character.
Rachel,
She had a cape
Rachel,
in her
she
night
literally
ensemble.
looked like the French students from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. That's what I wrote down.
Oh my god, you're right! That is what her nightgown looked like!
Delacour, and I was like, I hate
Wow!
I wonder if we can find a fanfic where Rachel is one of the French students in Harry Potter.
Oh my goodness.
If not,
Yes,
we'll write it. It's
please.
fine. The content the people want.
So that's where we'll get to the sort of the resolution of Will's storyline at the end, the song with the guys. But I drank this whole thing of wine. I'm not ready yet. So we're gonna go to Rachel and Jesse. So Jesse St. James, not Jesse James, Jesse St. James, Jonathan Groff, my hero, transfers schools because his parents winter in Bali and his uncle lives in the school district of McKinley High. He transfers schools to be part of the New Directions and to be with Rachel. What did you say, Hannah?
Jumped ahead.
Isn't that the beginning of the Rachel Jesse storyline? He transfers to be in school with her.
No, isn't that the end of the episode?
No, this is the beginning.
That's the beginning.
Alyssa even remembers that it's the beginning.
That is surprising. Yeah, it's the beginning.
The end of last episode, she pretends to break up with him and they're still together.
Isn't it before? No, before that, he is. Hold on.
You are
incorrect. When it starts, she's not even with Jesse. The episode starts with her and the girls.
Yeah, and she talks about a date she has with Jesse. That's what I missed. Thank you. This is very important.
He doesn't transfer schools until like part of the way through because he wants to get in her pants.
Yeah, well, like the middle of the.
Yeah, so we have still skipped ahead.
We still skipped ahead.
Missed the Wiggles concert.
Yes.
What?
Rachel talks about she had a date with Jesse. They went to a Wiggles concert.
That, Cullen?
I sent Hannah a meme about it. Because the Wiggles are doing like an adult like pub tour where they're singing like the original Wiggles.
Why?
I don't know, but I wish they were coming to LA so I could go.
Are you serious?
That'd be so fun.
No, it would be awful.
Imagine being drunk and dancing to the Wiggles.
I don't want to imagine that.
So Rachel and Jesse go to a Wiggles concert, which I guess someone was just trying to think of the weirdest date ever. And he won her a Care Bear. Or no, she won him a Care Bear because feminism. And then they're making out. They cut back to it. They're making out to some Sondheim, which
also,
on character, love that
fun
detail.
Fact, so the song that's playing, they actually, her and Jay Groff did a cover of it, and it was not on the soundtrack. But my friend who could like hack shit found like a bunch of non-published Glee songs, and that was one of them.
What?
Yes, I can't remember what the name of the song is. Do you know what the name of the song is? I'll try to find it.
I just heard that and I'm like, that's Sondheim. I couldn't remember what it was.
So yeah, fun fact. Also, Jay Groff looks like such a good kisser. That is something I definitely wrote down. I think it's the first thing I wrote down in all caps was the Wiggles concert. The second thing was Jesse looks like a good kisser.
Yeah, I love all his kissing scenes in Mindhunter.
Oh, actually, I find them really uncomfortable.
No, I don't. I know. I'm joking. I don't find those
cool.
uncomfortable. I love his kissing scenes in Frozen. Can I kiss you?
Asking for consent. I like it.
Sexy reindeer friend. So, yeah, and so first she's like, can I talk to you about something? And Santana's like, you should move to Israel. And then she says, like, say we're making out at a Wiggles concert. And Quinn is like, you're grossing out my baby. And she's like, I wasn't ready. Because he's like, should we do it? It's no big deal. And she's like, for a girl it is, which I don't even know if we want to unpack that.
It's a John Mulaney meme. We don't have time to unpack all of that.
Yeah, that American gender nightmare.
One of many problematic messages in this episode and the show as a whole. Please continue, Cullen.
Yes, because I get that is a big deal for anyone, especially a teenager, but to specify that it's women...
It can be a big deal.
Yes.
And yes, if it is a big deal for women.
But it's also a big deal for men, often. It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever. It's 2008. It's basically 1400. So then she's like, he got mad and he left and he didn't take home the Care Bear. And she's like, what should I do? And Santana's like, never say no. Hannah died.
Where I was like, oh, is that me? I don't think I'd say that.
And then Will is like, I'm going to teach you what feminism is. So that's basically that intro scene. And then Jesse transfers and he makes it up to her. And he's like, do you still have my Care Bear? Which I thought was kind of funny. And let me look at my outlines. So then Finn is all like, when Jesse joins the club, Finn says, are people just doing things to hurt my feelings? And Kurt and Mercedes are mad because now they can't get a solo because Jesse's going to be there. And they know that this is how Will Schuester works.
Valid.
Also, like, let's just quickly go back to when Jesse transfers. I'm like clutching my face because of how much pain I'm in. The shot on Rachel, on her face, when he's like, I transferred so I could, be here and be with you, and she literally, like, she lights up, and I just went, oh, this is gross and stalkerish. Like,
yeah.
Like, to promote that, like, a girl should be happy that, one, her boyfriend transferred from a different school to come be with her, and two, it's like kind of right after this whole let's not have sex thing. Paired together, the fact that she's like happy that he does this for her is like sending all sorts of bad messages.
I mean, if that happened to me, I would immediately break up with that person. Immediately.
I would, if I was Rachel, I would go to my gay dads and be like, we need a restraining order now.
According to Glee, transferring schools for someone is the greatest form of love, as we will find out in a later storyline.
Also, it is the beginning of people just randomly being able to switch schools. And as someone who has switched schools in the Ohio State School District, it is not easy. So, let me just put that out there, too.
Real facts. By now, you should know those have no bearing on Glee. So Rachel and Finn, Rachel's like, I need you to get the guys into doing the Madonna duet, and Finn's all like, I don't like Jesse, and she's like, well, I don't need you to like Jesse. I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember their exact conversation. They're kind of at odds, but she's like, we're going to sing this song. He's like, okay. So they do a mashup of Borderline and Open Your Heart, two songs I never heard until this mashup. I liked it. I liked the mashup. It's fine. It's fun.
I don't remember it.
I agree.
They walk around the library singing.
Oh, yeah.
And Finn tosses all the books down.
Yes, I remember that because I really didn't like that.
I think I blacked it out because I do not remember.
Finn, I don't know how to explain this. He was trying to be like,
sexy, right?
Yes, he was trying to be sexy and like a macho man or something, and it just backfired.
One of the reasons
awful.
I relate to Finn is that he can be cute, but he can't really be sexy. I thought that, like, musically it was a fun number. There's just so many Rachel and Finn sing to each other around the hallway numbers that I like more, so this one just kind of, like, fades. But I was like, oh, good. Nice, fun.
I don't remember the musical number.
Yeah.
I just remember Finn trying to knock stuff off shelves and be sexy, and
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it.
Rachel
I'm
and
truly
out
blessed.
of character.
I know, right?
Rachel decides that she wants to have sex with Jesse. They meet up in the room, and she has her nightgown with a cape on it, which that is Veronica Lodge, not Rachel Berry. I just want to state that. Veronica is on Riverdale, and she often wears capes during stealth missions. Yeah.
That sounds very practical. Thank you.
Thank you. But then he's all like, "Are you okay?" And she comes out, and like, because they have them like singing at each other, singing like a virgin, and then she's like, "I'm not ready," and he's like, "That's okay." He actually has a pretty good reaction from what I remember.
He says, "Do you want to come out and talk about it or sing about it?" And I was like, such a Jessie line. I love it. They're so dramatic.
They're so dramatic, and I love. It's fun. Like they're two weirdos, and it's fun to watch them date.
Yeah.
I don't even recall him responding.
Yeah, he was like, he was basically like, "It's okay. We don't have to have sex right now if you're not ready."
Okay, yes. And then we already talked about it, but in my notes, I have that after this, like, that's when he actually goes to Shu and asks to switch.
No,
It's after this. It definitely is, because my notes are all in order.
As to switch what? What are we talking about?
Cool.
I swear I thought he switched schools before.
No, it's like the punchline of this episode, because it starts, like, the next episode definitely starts with him at the school.
No, but like,
Literally one of my last lines is about Finn saying, "Welcome to New Directions," and I was like, please stop calling it New Directions.
No, because
I don't know. Maybe she's right.
No, because
I am right. It's in my notes.
Jesse is at the Cheerios performance, which we will get to.
So it's probably like maybe halfway through, because the Like a Virgin number happens like
About halfway through.
in the first half.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
I'll
so he doesn't
that.
switch schools until after she refuses to have sex with him.
Second time.
Oh.
Because that's his intention. That's why he's really doing it. At least that's how I'm reading it. It's like he's doing it because he wants to get in her pants.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Next time, maybe not a mason jar of wine.
Oh, I'm getting a second one for the next episode we're recording. Yeah. So that's basically Rachel's plotline. We'll get to how that fully resolves at the end, because they all kind of tie in at the end. We got the Fanta of it all. Sue tells the Cheerios that they need to be like Madonna, and that starts with dating a younger man. Brittany's response...
Which is so weird and creepy.
Brittany's response is to date Wes Brody. He's 7 years old. He plays soccer with her sister.
It's supposed to be Brittany's stupidity, but
it's I don't know. Like, that's kind of a topic that should remain not joked about.
Yeah.
Maybe I think it's funny because I just imagine her like giving him candy and being like, "Oh my gosh, we're dating. Like, we shared gummy worms." Because she's
Except
like,
we know what Brittany does when she dates, which makes it less funny.
yeah. And then when I think about that, then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those jokes that even the writers didn't think about, so...
Yeah.
And Santana's like, I need a younger man. And she's like, what about Finn? His birthday's 3 days before you, or 3 weeks before you. And he's like super dumb. And she's like, oh yeah. And then she comes up to Finn and it's like, you scream virgin. I just need to sex you up. Let's have sex. And he's like, no, I want to get back together with Rachel. And she's like, he's super into Jesse. She's super into Jesse. He's like, I thought they broke up. And she's like, no, she practically sprayed the choir room. She's like a cat in heat. They're in love. And he's like, she's like, it's a win-win. And he's like, how's this a win for me? And she's like, I get to be captain of the Cheerios and like be more empowered or something. So it's a win-win, as in 2 wins for me.
Yeah. So
this is just like Hannah.
I definitely like, it was like, okay, that's very Santana to be like, obviously I'm the one who's so empowered by this whole setup. That's all I care about. But like, even Finn is being pressured by this like anti-virgin movement that is hitting William McKinley High School right now. And it was actually really uncomfortable to have her be like obviously like you haven't lost your like the big V or do the D. Like also I wrote down these phrases of like, has Ryan Murphy ever met a teenager before? Like I don't
The
think
big
people
V.
call it that anymore. Like maybe they did in like after school specials.
Did
but
they
like,
ever?
Maybe when Ryan went to high school in 1945.
I'm sorry, can we not call him by his first name?
Mr. Murphy, no.
No, I hate that. Let's just call him Ryan Murphy.
Back in
Or-
1804 when he went to high school, they called it the big V.
I just why is all of the characters now being like so pressured by this? This is actually a question I had for you guys, and like I don't know if like we just have a really small sample size here. Obviously there's 3 of us, but like when I was in high school I didn't feel like that was a pressure that I had to deal with or that really anyone in my high school or at least my grade dealt with. I don't know if you guys experienced anything differently or like if you guys saw people that were really dealing with that pressure.
What I learned from Hocus Pocus is that if you're 16 and you're a virgin, like how embarrassing.
That you could be eaten by witches.
You could be eaten by witches. Just kidding. I do think it's weird for them to act like, oh my gosh, you're 16, you haven't lost your virginity. What?
Yeah.
I don't remember it being a thing in my high school.
You went to Catholic high school, right?
I went to Catholic. Do you think Catholics don't have sex?
No, I just think that like
As a fellow Catholic,
I just think like that pressure might be slightly less than in a public school.
Well, it's
I
weird
would
because
disagree.
you get like this pressure from all of the adults where you're not supposed to have sex, and then you get like this underlying idea that you are still supposed to have sex, and it makes it even a little bit more edgier and cool because you're
at
not
Catholic
supposed
school.
to.
Yeah.
But I don't recall it being like an open thing where everybody was like, oh, so such and such like is still a virgin, how terrible. Like that never happened.
Yeah,
it wasn't a thing.
I found that so strange. And like I don't know if that's something that now kids are dealing with because like obviously like high school is really different now than it was when I was in high school with like social media being as big as it is and like sexualization of young women being very high and encouraged on social media and all that stuff. Like maybe it's different now, but even then like I was in high school when this was coming out and like I don't know, I thought that was super fucking weird that Ryan Murphy, an adult man, telling children that they should be pressured into having sex. Because that's never really resolved in the episode. Or throughout the show.
No.
I was homeschooled. So, no.
Were you pressured?
So in like the homeschool community though, it was still like, because there were other, like I graduated, we had yearbooks and proms and all that stuff. Like there was like a group of us, but like that definitely is more like, oh my gosh, are so-and-so and so-and-so dating? Are they like secretly making out behind the chairs at church? Like that was a thing, but that wasn't like, there wasn't like, oh, you're a virgin, that's weird.
Well, see, I think one of the interesting things is that this topic in media has always been something I like have been aware of. You know, like there's never an open conversation in the school during high school, but I remember this same sort of thing being a topic on TV shows and movies that I used to watch.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's actually something real that happened. But
it's like
I think
media created.
Yeah, it's a media created sort of cycle where everybody is in this mindset, but it's not an actual real thing.
Interesting.
At least not where I'm from. It probably has happened. Definitely, actually.
Oh my gosh, is Glee not the most authentic show? What?
Crazy.
Crazy.
Okay, I have a note here. It says, question for Cullen.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly the context, but I know that Finn is like at his locker primping, and he's about to go, I think, talk to Santana to be like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I think I know what you're going to ask.
Where he licks his fingers, like his pinky and his
Oh my
his,
god, I remember
pointer.
that.
And then just the eye. Cullen, do men do that?
No, I did it
Is
jokingly
this
when I
another
was
media created
me good.
cycle?
I remember someone doing it in a skit in college where they were supposed to be playing like the bad kid, and I remember so they did that, and then I did it recently when I was trying to distract someone during beer pong.
So the answer is yes, men do this.
An accurate distraction technique. Got it.
I did win the beer pong challenge this party.
I mean, I was distracted by that because that is the only note I have for that segment of the show.
Yeah, that was weird. I feel like it was something the actor made up to be funny.
I feel like Finn would do that, though.
Finn would do that.
Oh, yes.
That is definitely Finn.
Yeah. Then Finn walks up to Santana, is like, I'm ready to lose the big V. They sing Like a Virgin together. And I just want to point out, so all the women are in like nightgowns and all the men are in like t-shirts and like long pants. And I'm like, I love the male gaze. And then
even when written by a gay man.
And then they have Finn and Santana do have sex, and she's like, how do you feel? And he's like, I feel nothing, because it meant nothing. And then he sings the song Nothing from chorus line.
I actually really felt kind of bad for Finn.
Yeah.
I actually really felt that. I was like, that is a really realistic emotion, I think, to be like he's someone who definitely like wanted that experience to be with someone he liked and cared about, and he ended up not doing it that way and then was like kind of like numb. And I was like, wow, like I feel that. I thought that was really authentic, actually.
I'm really shocked that the male character is the one that can actually create an authentic experience for.
I mean, yeah, no, it is shocking, for sure.
But I do agree. I do think I did, as much as I'm joking, because he should have sang the chorus line song Nothing, because I love that song. But where he was like, oh, this felt like nothing, I think that was a very real teen thing, because he was doing it because he was pressured into doing it and because he felt like that's something he needed to do. And then it was just like, oh, when it's treated like a transaction, it feels like a transaction.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think like not even just like a teen thing, just like in general, like if like you have that, if you have any sort of sexual experience and then you like feel numb afterwards, you're like, yeah, that was a thing. Like that was like an odd amount of depth in like a very short time that I was just not ready for Glee to breach.
That's Glee for you. That's like, here's all this random crap, and then here's a moment of extreme poignancy.
Here is 6 seconds of poignancy.
Yeah, and then Santana's like, I want a cheeseburger.
And I was like, oh my god, that's me.
So then when Finn and Rachel like meet, he's like, how's your date with Jesse? And she was like, oh, it wasn't such a big deal to have sex. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of it. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't go through with it. And I can't decide if this is like realistic lying or if I totally hate it because it seems like lying that's just used to create conflict later. Like, why would they lie about it? Ugh. But like, I sort of get it.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I understand why Rachel lied in the context of the show because there's so much pressure.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Finn lied.
That's, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
unless it's like
sure.
Specifically because he thinks that Rachel wouldn't want to be with him.
If he had been
but
with someone else.
Had sex
who
with someone else.
reveals it first? Because like if she says, oh, it wasn't a big deal,
she did
then
first.
he would be like, oh yeah,
it was her.
Yeah, so like,
yeah, I feel like that would be a perfect out for him to like lose some of the pressure he felt. Oh yeah, it wasn't a big deal because it didn't feel like a big deal to him, or it felt not important, or it felt numb and like.
Yeah, I don't know. That's really strange.
Like just in the context of the show, in the entire episode, it seems like a weird thing for him to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
This episode is so fucking weird.
It's so weird. All right, now to the Sue Sylvester storyline. So Sue is mad at Will for having the Glee kids do Madonna because they're destroying the power of Madonna. That was her idea. And then she insults his hair and the little elves that live inside of it. Um, and then he tries to insult her hair, and he's all like, boom, and it's not funny at all.
No, also, like, literally, he already took an idea that was hers that I already discussed, and then he takes away that sort of like momentum that she always gets from being able to do that to him. And it's just like, wow, a man fucking taking another thing from a woman. Like, that's how I felt. Even though she insults him all the time, I was like, how dare you do that to Sue Sylvester? How dare you do that to my aunt?
It just was like the jokes weren't funny. It was just like,
No.
and they acted like Sue was hurt by it, and I'm like, the Sue Sylvester I know would be like, oh my gosh, is that the best you have?
But apparently she has a thing about her hair because she then spouts a very distressing backstory about how her hair is terrible.
Which also is one Madonna's fault technically, because of her being obsessed with Madonna and wanting to look like her, and so that's what ruins her hair. But also two, Glee will do that, in which a character decides they have this problem because of this backstory that they're just going to talk about. It'll happen again. I have one in mind that I literally hate so much and cannot wait to discuss in a season or two. So,
to provide context, Kurt and Mercedes, who are doing a Madonna video, and Kurt's upset that Mercedes isn't as up to date with Madonna, they see that Sue is hurt by Will, and they're like, why? And she's like, me and my sister dyed my hair to look more like Madonna, and it like was bad because they used like napalm or chlorine or something, and she lost a lot of her hair. Is this story true? I'm going to say no, because as is basically established in the show, Sue Sylvester is, I want to say, serial liar, a compulsive liar. I feel like that story isn't true.
Liar.
Because she's like,
a series of lies.
Because she's like, Mercedes is like, wait, how old would that make you? She's like, oh, 29. And she's obviously not 29.
Yeah, but that's like a running thing where she always claims that she's 29.
Yeah.
She lies about everything because she also, I don't know if this part's a lie. I actually don't remember, but she also says her parents were famous Nazi hunters.
That is real.
And yeah, spoilers, Cullen.
Sorry.
And I was like, and that's what she says, she was like with her sister. But also, she mentions that she starts her part of the conversation with like having a handy, capable sister.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm laughing because I don't know why I'm laughing, but the shot on Mercedes and Kurt, they like feel like they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, really? That's the next shot we're gonna have. Okay, that's cool. And then she goes into talking about how her hair was like burned off. So like that whole sequence, the whole scene, bananas. Yeah. So Kurt and Mercedes want to do a makeover to help her find her style, right?
Because they're like, I'm gay, Mercedes is black, we make culture. Which I did think was a funny joke.
Paused it, and I was like, what do I think about this? I was like, how do I feel? And I didn't have any reaction after that because I was like, it's too much to process. I have to keep going.
You felt nothing, like the song and chorus line in Finn.
I just, like, it's one of those lines where I'm like, oh, like, this is funny, but also, like, is this actually funny? Like, is it good to be laughing at this? It was just all sorts of, I have to unpack this, but I don't want to, so I ignored it.
And that leads into Sue Sylvester's first musical number, Vogue. She sings Vogue she sings it, and like Kurt and Mercedes are kind of in the video.
It's a remake of the Vogue video.
Yeah. It was for Kurt's and Mercedes' video project. She sings Vogue, and they give her all these makeovers, and she decides not to go with any of them because she tried to wear like the cone bra around, and Figgins was like, you're already an empowered woman. And Sue's like, I just needed Figgins to tell me that. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm really glad Figgins told the audience that too, because I would have never known that Sue is empowered. Also, this is kind of going back a little bit, but I think I realized this after the fact. I have written here that almost forgot that Mercedes literally referred to Kurt in the first scene as the mayor of Gay Town when she was talking about how she was like unlucky in love. And I'm like, would you really refer to your friend like that behind their back?
That's what I call Hannah all the time.
The mayor of Bytown?
Yeah.
I'm actually probably the deputy mayor. I don't want to take the top spot.
Yeah, maybe you would after a man like Figgins told you were empowered.
Oh my god, that was so upsetting. I literally thought of you, Alyssa, when Figgins said that. I was like, Alyssa,
All right. Oh gosh, this episode. So then we get to see Will Schuester move his hands. Oh my gosh. Will sings, and the boys sing "What It Feels Like for a Girl."
I hated this scene.
Oh my god, Alyssa, me too.
I hated it so much.
And he's like, we need to learn to treat women better. And Puck's like, I like being a boy. And Finn is like, because it's easier to be a boy. And I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of a good line.
Yeah, that was a good line.
And then they're like, oh, we sing this song, we're going to be better to women. We cut to Artie apologizing to Tina and kissing her. They kiss. And then Finn apologizes to Rachel and welcomes Jesse. And they shake hands. And like, because at first Jesse's like, we're going to have a sing-off in the parking lot. We're going to challenge this old-fashioned ways to sing off. And Rachel is like, oh no. And that was actually really funny because that would be Rachel. And then Finn's like, we're not going to do that. We're going to be friends. But Will's like, yeah, I need to start walking the walk and treat women better. And that's why I sang What It Feels Like for a Girl with You. I know you have things to say, so.
I don't even know where to start because that whole scene of them doing that song, the boys doing that song. I mean, we're gonna need to circle back to Emma and Shu because I have a line written down. But like, I understand what the boys' number was supposed to be going for. It was supposed to be very instructional, and it was really supposed to be like, think about things from their perspective. I get that. Totally get it. But here's what I think should have been done in the Gleeboot. Why didn't the girls sing that instead of Express Yourself, in which they're saying, like, this is what it's like, and have the men sing, like, a silly Madonna song? It literally made no sense for them to be singing it alone with just Shu. Also, Shu is singing for some reason.
And moving his hands while he's singing.
If the girls were there in that scene, the girls would be like, listening to them say all these things would be like saying these things again for the second time, and them just being like, why you guys are fucking stupid and rude and terrible. Like, it just made no sense to
it did
really
not make any sense
have them singing this song in the overall context. Like, it would have been more interesting, like, dramatically, if like this is sung by the women. It would just, I don't know. I have so many things written down about this that, like, I can't even put it into actual words again.
My least favorite part of this scene was not even them singing it. It was after the fact when I want to say Puck is the one that says, okay, I get this, but I'm not singing this song. And I'm like, you don't get it.
Literally, it's mansplaining in a song because they've perverted this song because they have taken it from a woman singing it and given it to a guy. And then
they're just like, oh yeah, but it doesn't, I don't want to sing it because I'm a man.
Yes. And then on top of that, there's a transphobic comment from Puck. I don't have it written down, but literally, like, they're still having these gross
he's like
thrown around, and Shu doesn't do a fucking thing about it.
Because he's like, Finn has decided he wants to be Finessa.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I was like, and Shu's just gonna let that slide. Like, that is like the second time Puck has said something really disgusting, and she just like doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah, my sister's a high school teacher, so like I remember even the first time I watched Glee, when I like saw the stuff Will let happen in the choir room, I'm like, this is not okay. Like, why are you letting this happen? Like, 'cause I hear my sister's stories about her classroom and what she does when people do things, and just the whole structure of his classroom is like not okay.
So there was also, we talked about the Jesse, Rachel, Finn scene where he's like, welcome to nude erections. And I'm like, stop calling it that. He literally says, Finn says, I'll do my best to stay away from your girl. And I'm like, that is scene
I
number
was so
18.
angry.
Like, I'll do my best. One, okay, let's break this down. I'll do my best. That's the first part, okay? He's not even promising this. And then to stay away from your girl, which will lead into a good number, not a good number, a number I remember. Let me start phrasing things that way in a few episodes. But it's literally like, this sentence is just utterly disgusting. Like, and he doesn't even like look at Rachel when he's saying it. Like,
I can't. This
he doesn't say,
entire
like, I will leave
exchange.
you alone. I'm
No.
happy for you guys. Like, have a great time at your second Wiggles concert. I think they're coming back to town. Like, he says to Jesse, like, it's, oh, I'm fine. I'm not, but I'm fine.
Well, Cullen, when you said that Rachel would be like to this singing showdown that was allegedly gonna happen, I disagree with that. I think she would be like, no, you guys, this is not happening on my watch.
Rachel loves drama.
She loves drama, but she loves to be in control.
Yeah.
Of and I don't think that having two guys fight over her, I don't know. I don't think she would react that way to that.
I think like the Rachel I know really like she wants more male attention than she gets. So the fact that she has two men fighting over her is like, I think Rachel would like that. I think you would hate that whole situation.
Oh, I would hate it.
Yeah, so I think we've assigned you Rachel, but that's where a key difference is. I think Rachel likes like, oh my gosh, a sing-off, like yes, but
well,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think women in general would be like, yes, I want this, but I think Rachel.
I still don't think she would let it go down. Maybe she would let it start and then see what a big mess it's becoming.
And then sing her own song.
Yes, and like shut it down.
I agree with that.
So like, if we were to reboot Glee, would this sing-off episode be a thing?
Why not? That sounds fun.
Right?
I mean, I don't remember what happens with this love triangle.
I do.
So, like, honestly, you're saying this, and I'm like, honestly, it could happen. Like, Rachel, like, literally, like you're saying, start it, and then be like, no, this has to stop. It's too much drama for the group.
Oh, yeah.
We have to do it for our team. And then she, like, squint sings like she does in every episode. So,
because she did say something that she felt like them having sex wouldn't be good for the team. And then he's like, let's be honest. Yeah. Yeah, so that's that storyline. Here's one thing I want to say that like I get the idea, because I do think like high school is a good time to start. Well, it should be earlier, but like I think a lot of teen dramas, they have characters that are like strawman sexist, and then like the sexism of their male leads is never challenged or never seen as a problem. But I do like that Glee's having male leads that we're supposed to like shows sexist tendencies that then need to be corrected. I don't think they handle that storyline well at all, but I think like that's an advantage of teen television, is that you can show how like the problematic aspects of your characters can be changed because they're literally minors, like they're children, they're still learning things. So I'm like, I like the idea behind this. Do I hate everything about the execution? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so on that same note, I wrote, I happen to know that this lesson is repeated consistently, not even just for the students, but also for Shu throughout the series. So this is just one of the early episodes in which they need to consistently remind themselves of like, oh yeah, we're being really terrible. So like, yeah, maybe that is like a really strong function of the show, even if I hate every second of it. The last thing I guess I have to say, and we'll also talk about the final musical number after
Of
that
course.
too. I have a lot to say about that too. Um, but like after the men sing that song, uh, it's like the like Artie apologizing to Tina and whatnot. Like it's literally just shoes like we have to tell women why they feel the things they're feeling and how we can fix them is it's like a disease that has spread because Sue has made them do this assignment. Also, Kurt calls himself an honorary girl.
Yes, that's something I did want to talk about. Thank you for
So
reminding me.
reductive. It's like
This has happened multiple times.
yeah, like it's one of those things that like I think now we would sort of agree that like that's really reductive and it's pretty like old misogyny slash homophobia that like maybe in some regards the show is trying to like pull at, but like this is a character who like owns that, and it's I don't know, it's very strange to me.
It's very in line with. I remember the girls in high school being like, "I love gay guys. They're just like girls without the drama." Which
Mm.
I just want to say, whoever said gay men don't have drama.
Have you
quite line
seen
up.
Glee?
Like, and because I remember in college, a girl being like, "Oh, I just treat gays are just like girls," and I'm like, "Oh, I treat them."
Like people.
You treat everyone like people, but like I tend to interact with them more like the ways I interact with other men because they're other men. It's it's weird to just see them as like, oh, if you like guys, then you're a girl. It's like very stuck to this gender binary that's based on who you're sexually attracted to.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah. Glee's never gross.
Glee is perfect. Yeah, so the what did you call it? Wemma?
Well, I use that ship name because I hate it.
Is that actually their ship name? Because I actually don't know.
I don't even know.
Well, it is equally as terrible as their relationship. So let's keep using it. So like I don't know, Cullen, if you want to recap, just like what do you want to talk about?
Basically, he's like, I've been calling you all weekend, and she's like, I wasn't ready. He's like, I shouldn't have pressured you. I'm sorry, right? I feel like I blacked out something else.
No, basically he was like it was more like I
think
shouldn't
he
have let
apologized.
you do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't
Yes.
apologize.
Yeah.
Because then he's also like, we should do a no dating thing until my divorce is filed.
Like for real this time.
So, like, before that, he literally is like, well, Emma, she consistently, she's like saying, like, you're so handsome and your chin dimple. And I was like, why do we have to consistently be reminded by Emma that she was handsome? Is it because he actually isn't because he's a terrible person? It's just, she starts with that. She's like, you're so nice and sweet and handsome. And I'm like, ew. And then he does that thing where he's like telling her what she's feeling and thinking and going through. He's the physical embodiment of mansplaining, honestly.
But like, that's not even a stretch. Like, that's not even like social justice warriors going too far. Like, that's literally like exactly him.
like Alyssa said, like he literally kind of says like you took ownership of your body when you weren't ready, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't even want to unpack that. And then he's like, I've been working so hard to get the guys to start treating girls with more respect, and I was like, how? In what ways? Other than making them do this stupid song that means nothing to them. I was like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, And then
I just
Emma blames herself. She's like, I did kind of throw myself at you. And then she was the one being like, yeah, we should set some boundaries. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what's happening here? Why?
and he's like, you need to get help for your issues.
He found her a therapist. Okay, this is, and then
I really
this,
did block this all out because I'm like, oh, no, it's all coming back to me. It's all coming back to me now, and I hate it.
Okay, so Shu digs into like Emma's personal life so much and takes ownership of something for her by finding her a therapist, and she's like, oh my god, thank you. A business card. Awesome. And then right after that is when Jesse decides to switch schools to be with Rachel, and I'm like, back to back, just crazy men asserting themselves into women's spaces, and I'm uncomfy.
Yeah, me too. Then they all sing like a prayer.
I love the transition from that. That was great. Yeah, and then they all need to be saved.
They sing like a prayer, Madonna's good Christian song about praying. So I have are we done with the comments about the episode? Because I have a way I would entirely redo this episode.
We're not gonna spend more time talking about the fact that they bring out a fucking gospel choir in the middle of this number. It's just again to the thing that like these numbers do not matter because that's not gonna go in their fucking sectionals or whatever.
Now it's
regional.
They did sectionals. No, it's regionals. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they can't bring a whole fucking gospel choir onto stage. That was a fucking waste of time. But like also there are candles on the stage. They literally took us to church because they have a fucking like fake stained glass window in the backdrop, and I lost my mind again. I was like,
his mind is like 3 states away at this point.
I mean, I could not come up with words earlier to describe that scene, and it's all like flashing back to me like really fast, and I'm just overloaded with data that I just can't. So yeah, it's and then I end on, I happen to know the men of this glee club do not learn their lesson because there are many more times that they are gross douches throughout other seasons. So, ...
It's almost like you can't teach someone to be entirely perfectly feminist with one Madonna song?
What?
Wow. Wow. That's it.
Yeah, I'm glad I could explain feminism to you.
Thank you. I totally didn't understand the purpose of this episode, and now you told me how I should think about it. How should I feel about it, Cullen? I'm really confused. Should I be happy?
Yeah, you should be happy and
I feel empowered. Yeah, you're right. I do feel empowered. Thank you for reminding me.
Empowered to wear nightgowns with capes.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
So, I know this is already a long episode, but there is a lot to unpack. But here's in my Gleeboot, where Will Schuester is non-existent and replaced by Jonathan Groff as a gay show choir teacher who's kind of like Will meets Sue. Just kind of like an antagonist figure. He's like, you're going to do the music of gay icon Carly Rae Jepsen, who I also happen to love. I wrote down the songs. If you listen to Carly Rae Jepsen, you might know some of this. The girls are going to do a mashup because the boys don't want to do her. They're going to do a mashup of Call Me Maybe, Boy Problems, and Store. Boy Problem, everyone knows Call Me Maybe. Boy Problems is about talking to your girlfriends too much about boy problems and neglecting your friendship. And Store is about just deciding to go to the store and like leave your boyfriend and never talk to them again. Kurt and Rachel are both going to sing Your Type at Finn, where she says, I'm not the type of girl for you that you see, like, I'm the type of girl you see only as a friend. That's in that song. And then Finn and Rachel are going to do a duet mashup of Cut to the Feeling, which is like a happy and love song, and I'd Rather Not Know It, which is about, like, if you have feelings for me, I'd rather not know it because it's too difficult. And then if we're going to have a sex number in this, like the Like a Virgin, it's going to be replaced with I Want You in My Room from her latest album. And the finale might be a mashup of all her songs, like some of her songs, or It Feels Right from her latest album. but I think it'd be a fun episode about an artist's music and about like how pop can be fun and like how women view relationships, because there's a really interesting video about how Carly Rae Jepsen mainly sings about like different points in it. She never sings about just like being in love. Like she occasionally has a song about that, but it's usually like this is very much a start of a relationship song or an end of one or a pining after one, or like it's all the outside of relationship, which is interesting. And I think I, as someone who never really listened to Madonna, would rather have a Carly Rae Jepsen episode.
I am literally beside myself with joy. I love this. I love that you have everything. Okay, but I have one question.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's more of a note. You need more mansplaining. Has to have a mansplaining through line. But other than
So
that,
the boys would sing Boy Problems instead of the girls.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think that'd be more fun. Also in the Gleeboot, Puck isn't in the Glee Club if he's even a character. I think that just...
I know about as many Carly Rae Jepsen songs as I do Madonna songs, so...
Well, you should listen to her because she's amazing, and everyone listening to this podcast should listen to her albums Emotion and Dedication. That's her latest album. Yeah, it's really good. And then Maybe Kiss, which is her album that Call Me Maybe is on.
Are you getting paid right now?
I
No.
literally was about to be like, so Cullen, where do we get them? Is there like a Target exclusive album you want us to listen to?
Just go to Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by Target. Okay.
Carly is just underrated.
Oh, you're first
and-
name basis with her.
Yeah, we're best friends. Yeah, she produces bops, and people are just like, whatever. And I'm like, but no, you should pay attention. And our Gleeboot will remedy that.
I'm not a big pop person.
Well, you should at least try it out. She has some good ones.
But, like, I haven't tried pop before?
No, you should try Carly out.
Oh, okay.
She won Canadian Idol.
I'm so much more invested now.
She has a music video about falling in love with her cat. Like, not like
Guys.
falling in love, but like meeting her cat and like loving it so much.
I did watch that. You showed it to me.
Yeah, it was great.
I am so upset at myself. You said she won Canadian Idol, and then I was like, oh my god, I never even thought that like another country's version of American Idol would be that country's name. I thought it would be American Idol in the UK or in Canada. Also, we didn't mention Kurt and Mercedes joined the Cheerios, and I love that storyline.
Oh my gosh, we forgot
That's
that.
an entire storyline!
So Kurt and Mercedes, they sing 4 minutes because they give Sue the makeover, and she's like, let's sing, like, you guys get to sing at the Cheerios. They sing 4 minutes, and there's great reaction shots because Quinn is all happy for them singing with the Cheerios. Rachel is like, gross Afro kid is trying to like, what's his name?
In Israel.
Jacob Ben Israel is like trying to make Rachel comment, and she like pushes the mic away. It was great. And she's at that pep rally with Jesse, and then they sing 4 minutes, and they're like, we need more solos. Like, we love being in Glee Club, but we're gonna get ignored, so we're gonna do Cheerios. And Will is like, you betrayed me, and I'm like, because kids can only be in one extracurricular.
Yeah, that's very weird.
It's obviously like that personal vendetta with Sue, and I'm like, dude, get the fuck over it. Like, also they have a totally valid point. Like
They do.
are
They
so
never.
amazing.
They are great singers, and they never get solos, and it's true.
Yeah.
And now with like Jesse in the mix, like he's gonna take all of the other solos that Kurt would have had or may have had, and it's just like, I don't blame him, and I love that whole
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah. So that was the thing that happened. And then I think it's Tina time.
Oh,
shit. She had 4 lines this episode.
She killed it.
Most of them were about Artie, but hey.
Yes.
So doesn't pass the Bechdel test, but she spoke.
She spoke.
She did.
She's
and
the voice
let me
of
be
Asian
clear
women
now.
everywhere.
We are not actually like counting the lines as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the page. counting the lines as blocks of
Speaking.
Yeah.
So she kind of had like this monologue where she was talking about how terrible Artie was being, but that's counted as one line.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she did amazing. And yeah.
What was your favorite song?
I'm going to say my favorite song, actually my best song was Vogue. I loved it. I thought Sue's like change up of the lyrics was kind of fun.
Will Schuster, I hate you.
Yeah.
We're like relatable content.
That's her own name. It's great.
I'm also going to go with Vogue because it's the only one that I really remember.
Mm-hmm.
So, Like a Prayer was the only one that made it to my Glee / Guilty Pleasures playlist.
Wow.
But I often skip it.
Oh.
And at first, yeah. And I'm like, do I like the Finchel duet? Is that my favorite? But I'm going to go with Like a Virgin, not because I especially liked it, but it was very theatrical. And I appreciated that it was like trying to like highlight the stories in like a fun way. Do I hate that whole message and like how they handled sexuality a lot in this episode? Yes, but I think I'm gonna just. That's what me on Like a Lot of Wine decided right at this moment. So.
Yeah, that whole song was uncomfortable.
But it was still your favorite. I think Santana sounded amazing on that number. I mean, I sounded amazing on that number.
Yeah. I think just like if you were to, I don't even want to think about if you were to put Glee on stage, but something like, if this was like a story.
A nightmare
that would
come true.
That's like, it moves the story along like a musical number should. It doesn't just stop.
It does feel like that would be a song in a musical.
Yeah. Because Express Yourself was fun, but the version in Isn't It Romantic is just so much better. Listen to that. Plug for Isn't It Romantic. Please sponsor us. What was your least favorite song? I think I know.
Oh, do you want to tell us what our least favorite song was, Cullen?
Yeah.
Let's just keep with the
mansplaining.
Go ahead, yeah. What do you think my least favorite song was, Cullen? Take a wild stab at it.
What it feels like for a girl?
Absolutely.
Same.
I want that number to burn in hell.
That was a bad number. It wasn't, there was nothing about it that was like fun. The only thing I liked about that scene was when Finn was like, because it's easier to be a girl or easier to be a boy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's like, I was like shocked. I was shocked that something that insightful was said.
Something that insightful was said and something so
here we go.
Tone deaf.
Well, Finn is like the child in Children Speak the Truth, so...
True. Valid.
Yeah. Ugh, who is your least valuable player?
The mansplainer himself, William Schuster.
William Esquire Schuster. Yeah, I'm gonna just, let's fuck Will. As in, don't fuck Will, no one touch that body.
This is not a personal attack on Matthew Morrison, by the way. Or is it? I don't want to speak for anyone else on the podcast.
I'm actually not going with Will because he is an obvious choice. I'm going to go with Puck, who I have not yet named as my least valuable character.
He deserves it.
No,
yes, he does. I really, really hated the lines that he had this episode.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't hated it. Like, yes, I've hated it. But this was, like...
unforgivable.
I just really didn't like it. You have to understand, with me, if I hate something, I hate it for like 2 seconds and then I'm done because hate takes a lot of energy.
So healthy. Good for you. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm sorry. That was like a compliment.
I held a grudge in this episode.
Wow.
That's how much I hated Puck's lines.
Yeah. Well, they did suck. Like, he really sucked.
Yeah. Puck is my LVP.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a very valid.
No,
as a man, I'm just saying that's a valid thing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for validating this.
Who's your MVP this week?
Do we have to have one?
I'm thinking. I'm down between two.
This is the first person that came to my mind. I am gonna say Brittany. Because she also, like, when Jessie shows, this is why. When Jessie shows up and
Yes.
she was like, well, I kind of want to amend my answer because I also remembered her saying that she wanted to date a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, because of this
But
line.
this is a
You
great.
already said it. You already said it. You
This
can't
is a
change
great
that.
line
Because
you're
of
about to
this
quote.
line.
So.
She goes, Mr. Shu, is he your son? And it's so good. After he literally explained who this kid was, she was like, is he your son?
And Jonathan Groff has this great bit where he kind of like
He's like, am I?
gives like an eyebrow raise, and it was actually funny.
Jonathan Groff is the savior of the show just by his existence, not necessarily his character.
So I was torn between my MVP. I loved Quinn being all supportive of Kurt and Mercedes singing in the Cheerios. I thought that was really cute. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're acting like a normal friend would. And I loved Rachel like standing up for herself and being like, I want to date Jessie. I love the Wiggles, and I'm not ready to have sex. Like just being, I love how she's sort of about herself. But as gross as it was that Jessie got really mad and left, he then was like, it's okay if you don't want to have sex, and was not a dick in that moment where like I feel like almost any other Glee character could so easily be a huge dick in that moment, and he makes out to Sondheim, and he has that funny thing where he's like, am I your son? So in a rough week, and very fitting and on brand for Glee in the episode about female empowerment, I'm picking Jessie.
After saying that you like two women for being empowered. What? Cullen! No, it is spread to you now.
Oh boy.
Alyssa, don't touch him.
I love Jonathan Groff. He's so good, and that's why he's playing the evil teacher in my Gleeboot. What was your MVP, Alyssa?
My MVP, I'm gonna go with Quinn because she's not pulled into any of the shit that goes down in this episode. That is literally why.
We all wish we could be Quinn,
Actually,
not
that's
pulled into
really
any of this.
interesting. She does kind of like hover above all of this like an angel.
Yeah.
That's crazy. She really does.
Quinn is so interesting because the show really wants us to be like, we hate her, she's a bad person, and she's not this angel she pretends to be, but at the same time she often is, because she's just like, I'm staying out of this drama, I have my own shit to deal with. This was a long episode, but there was a lot to talk about.
So much fun.
Still is.
We could revisit this later on and just be like, all right, there are some other things, some final notes. Like 5 episodes later, like, oh my god, and in the Madonna episode, that's gonna happen, I can guarantee.
I wonder if there's like a circle in hell of just people still debating the power of Madonna.
Yes, and that's where I will exist forever.
It's like a very select. There's like only 5 people that make it into that corner
That's my
of the
version
afterlife.
of The Bad Place. Me constantly arguing with sexist people and Glee lovers about this episode.
You're in there with Will Actual Schuster.
And Ryan Murphy.
Oh. Yeah.
And Madonna. All right. I think we've said as much as we can humanly say in this life about the power of Madonna and Carly Rae Jepsen and Jonathan Groff.
Can I just say, I don't feel empowered by this episode.
You can say that, Hannah.
Thank
I will
you.
back you up.
Thank you for validating me, fellow female. Can I plug us on social media?
Yeah, social media, plug us.
All right, so we are on Twitter and Instagram, both at Gleeboot Pod, and then we're also on Tumblr because why not? We're Gleeboot Pod, and yeah, hit us up. We've got some posts, and it's great. Talk to us. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, say what your thoughts are on the episodes. Let us know what you think. give us a 5-star review on iTunes and we'll shout you out. Yeah, and also, if you haven't checked it out, check out The Blaze. It is a 90210 podcast. Yours truly stars on 2 episodes. And we talk a lot about Glee and Gleeboot. They quizzed me to see if I was a true Gleek. I think I passed, but like, who even knows? And we talk about Riverdale and Luke Perry and his passing, and it was very meaningful. And so if you like hearing me talk about teen dramas, definitely check it out. And just check out Lizzie and Kat because they're really cool. And you might have a lot of fun listening to them talk about 90210.
Yay!
So stay gleeful, my listeners. And treat women better than Will Schuester. Please. I'm begging you.
Honestly, we should be the ones begging. Please treat women better than Will Schuester.
I don't want to beg.
You shouldn't have to.
Shit.
I'm not.
Thank you, Cullen, for telling us what we should and should not have to do.
It's my place.
It's your right. You've earned it.
Are you ever ashamed that you're the same gender as Will Schuester? Because I am in this moment.
I can say that I've never been ashamed of that.
So empowering.
That is what it's like to be an empowered woman.
Just wake up and be like, you know what? Will Schuster's a different gender than me.
Thank God.
Fuck yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. Hit us up. Gleeboot Pod.
Boop, boop.
Talk to you later.
Stop button.
I'm trying to hit the stop button. Oh my gosh, mouses.
Give me that.